There's always something happening in Nigeria. A trending story, a viral video on Instagram, on Twitter, or a conversation everyone seems to have an opinion on. But beyond the noise, I always find myself asking, what is really going on here? Because sometimes it can feel like we are all talking but not really understanding. And honestly, some things just need to be said. Hi, my name is Grace, and this is Naija Through My Eyes. This podcast is a place where we honestly talk about Nigeria, from viral moments to serious issues, not just reacting to what we see, but actually trying to understand it. There'll be no noise, no hype, just real thoughts, real questions, and real perspective. So, why this podcast, you might ask? Well, I decided to start this podcast because I realized something about myself. Whenever I watch something, whether it's an interview or a trending video or a skit on Instagram, or even just a conversation online or just some comments, I don't just move on. Like, I pause, I try to think about it, and I raise some questions. Sometimes I agree with what I see online, sometimes I don't. And sometimes I feel like something is missing from the conversation. And I started to realize, maybe I'm not the only one that feels that way, Maybe there are other people that think the same way I think. And maybe there are people asking, wait, is that all there is? Is that the full picture? And that is where really this podcast comes from. It's coming from a place of curiosity, wanting to know, a place of reflection, and a place of honesty. Well, this podcast is not about trying to sound like some expert, because I'm not claiming to be an expert. It's definitely not about adding more noise. There is already enough of that. If you go online around us, there's already enough noise. But this is a place where we slow things down. We take a step back and say, let's actually think about this. Let's look at not just our side, but let's look at the other side. Let's ask better questions. Because sometimes the problem is not that people are not talking. Everybody's talking. I am talking, you are talking. There's always somebody talking. But it's that we are not really talking deeply enough. We're not really going down to the root of issues. We're not really going down really deep to really think about it. We just do sometimes surface level talk or just hype. So, everything you will hear on this podcast is exactly what the name says. Naija Through My Eyes. This is about my perspective, my thoughts, my reflections. As someone who cares about Nigeria, as someone who is also observing from a certain distance, which sometimes gives a different kind of clarity, a different kind of perspective. So I won't always have the answer, but I will be honest about my thoughts, how I see it, what are the questions that arises, my questions, what I'm thinking. So if you are someone who is tired of one-sided conversation, you want something a bit more thoughtful, a bit more real, a bit more human, then you're in the right place. This is Naija Through My Eyes, and we're just getting started. Thank you, and see you next episode. Till then, bye.